Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, the title of our show today is You Have a Purpose. You Have a Purpose. And it's quite an interesting topic and one I really want to hit on today. And, before we get started, thank you so much. We had over 250 people agree to sign up to attend this event. So, that tells me that there's a lot of people from all over the world who love this information and really want to benefit from it. So this is guaranteed to add lots of value to everyone. But first, in the comment section, guys, feel free to drop a comment. Let us know where you're from, what country you're from, what state, and use this as a networking opportunity to connect with other people. Because right here, this is how you find your tribe. You find it by connecting with other people on LinkedIn that are thought leaders as well, that are interested in interesting topics just like this one. So use this as an opportunity to connect and to build your tribe and community. But without further ado, I want to introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. Aredshir, and he's going to be talking to us today about this topic of purpose. We're going to talk about depression and even thoughts of suicide, because all of these are very important. So, Dr. Aredshir, I'd love to hear from you.
Great. Hello, everyone. And I'm joining you from Northern California, outside San Francisco. It's a beautiful day. And amazing people here. First, I want to take a moment. Last night, I was looking at the list of people attending. First of all, everybody's beautiful. I'm so impressed with the folks attending. And there were some individuals that really touched my heart, and I need to acknowledge that. There's a woman who lost her husband at 9/11. There's an individual either lives in Ukraine or is from Ukraine, lives in the US. And there are a number of Iranian women that throughout the world, and I believe from Iran, are joining us. And I'm Iranian American, and you're all in my heart as we talk. We have our day life, what we do, but Iranian women with women, liberty, and freedom. So there are a lot of amazing people doing amazing work, and there are consequences are tragic for a lot of folks. So welcome. My hope is that you take something from this conversation. I mean, there's a lot of science behind what I want to share with you, but I want to talk person to person. And I will be talking about depression, anxiety, and psychotherapy. I want to offer you a perspective, a different perspective, that what I urge you is not to change. If you're in therapy, going to take a medication, don't change anything. Stay with your course. And I'm not here to sell you anything, pitch anything. You don't have to buy anything from me. I'm offering my research and basically what saved me as a perspective. And you decide what to do with it. The main topics I want to share with you, let me give you the top line, and then I will go to the discussion about that. I'm a psychologist, got my doctorate from Columbia, the psychoanalysis, did my training in psychoanalysis, Bellevue Psychiatric. And then I went to the corporate environment, and I was triple major when I went to get my doctorate in psychoanalysis, then organizational psychology, people in organizations, and also research and statistics. My professor, they were keep telling me, Aredshir, you're different than other students. You ask different questions. You go really deep. My professor either they admired me or they were annoyed with me. I thought people make things up. So I had to go see myself first thing that, why does it take so long to go to therapy? Why it takes so long to heal? I didn't trust any of that. I was going to learn from the patients. They were my best educators. And then in the corporate world. So I've been in a pursuit to answer two questions in my life. And why am I so depressed? Me, Aredshir. Why am I so depressed? Mom and dad, my brothers, sisters. It becomes part of family fabric. Grandparents, you talk about it. The other one is, why can't I heal my depression? I've been to 7 psychologists over my adult years, psychiatrists, medication, and I felt it was all focused, the great practitioners focused on symptom management, but they were keep missing me. And I went on a way to figure out what the heck is mental illness? What is depression? Depression, folks, and especially anxiety, there's a reason I use these two. They are not afflictions. If we go chase healing terms, we will be in a whirlpool. We will never come out of it. Depression and anxiety are your own SOS signals to yourself, you to you, say, wake up. You are on the right track. You're on the wrong track. Get back and heal yourself. It's really a wake-up call. And depression and anxiety in high performers, executives actually has its own nuance. It's very different. What happens in high performers, which all of you here are, we are also blessed with resiliency. We get up, we change, we learn, we move on. What happened, we learn how to basically mask our depression and anxiety. That's what a lot of CEOs tell me. I can take care of it. I'm not going to see any stinking psychotherapist. I'm fine. What are you talking about? Our bodies tell different stories. So traveling with executives, with C-suite levels, I would say, hey, what's that in your purse? What is that in your backpack? Medications, after medication. 3 types of medications for pain. Gastrointestinal for stomachs, for their hearts. There's a science behind that. So the message I want to give you, that anxiety and depression, the way you look at it, not after the symptom, is the quality of your life. The work that I'm bringing to the world, my book is coming up next May, and the title of that is You're Not Depressed, You're Unfinished, is there's a life inside you. If you're struggling, it means you're not living your life that is meant to be, and you know it. We have an amazing body of psychotherapy and what is illness is. Nobody told us what health is. To this day, psychologists, we trying to make less depressed, less anxious. What they don't tell us. So what is the opposite of depression? They tell us it's happiness. No, it's not. Opposite of depression is fulfillment. Fulfillment. Depression is a sense of grieving, sense of loss, that there's something in you, in your life is lost. Men and women experience and express it differently. Anxiety is sense of control. You trying to find your base, your foundation. They feed each other. And we feel untethered when we are anxious. With depression, we are looking for something. We know it's there. We can't point it, but we know something is missing. That's what we're grieving.
Wow. That's amazing. I want to just take a pause right there because you dropped so much knowledge. But just to reiterate what you said, the opposite of depression is not happiness. The opposite is fulfillment.
Yes.
Wow. Let's look at our chat real quick, Dr. Ardeshir, because we have.
You suggest call me Ardeshir, so when people call me Dr. Ardeshir, it means I'm in trouble. Somebody just call me.
You are in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. So we've got people from Costa Rica. Thank you so much for coming. It's so good to see you, Tara. She is such a beautiful soul. And Tara and I connected because, well, we both struggled with depression in the past. And I talked to her several months ago now and told her that you can and you will do this. And it elevated her, that simple sentence, to go on and really help change her life. So so blessed to have these folks in my network. Here's Donna, fans of us both. That's beautiful. But let's hear from you guys too. What did Dr. Ardeshir, I can't help it. I just, it comes right out.
Sorry.
What do you guys have any comments? Was there something that he said that really resonated with you and stood out to you? Let us know. Here's Hannah saying that we had a great topic. So let us know, guys, if there's as we're going and as he's talking, if there's something that you want to in more information on or have a question for him about, let us know in the comments and I'll make sure to address it. But you sent me a message last night as if I didn't think high enough of you already. I didn't know if that was possible. And you said, may I please give audience members a complimentary PDF today during our talk. And I just thought that was such a beautiful thing for you to give such a wonderful gift to everybody for attending. But can you tell us a little bit about this free PDF that you're giving to audience members today?
Yes. So this PDF, it talks about, you see a poster behind me on my right shoulder, is the Bill of Emotional Rights. So this is something interesting. As I was struggling with my depression, I was in clinical training in Bellevue. So they were assigning me very severely case of schizophrenia, manic depressive, suicidal, and I was working with them. In my 20s, late 20s, not married yet, learning about life about myself. And I felt when I was calming down and I see people not from their language of diagnosis, as a man and woman who've been really hurt badly in life, violated, abused, when I just listened to them, they were telling their stories in certain structures, certain patterns, certain narratives. I could hear it. I would get disturbed by it, and I couldn't understand it. That they saying something. It's almost really, in retrospect, I feel they were educating me to say, dude, listen to what I'm telling you. This would go years after my clinical training. I went to the corporate environment, worked with the C-suite, became trusted advisor to so many leaders. Behind closed doors, we would travel. They would tell me about the individual they remember. For women, they say that the person they lost over the years, that they were from the young, amazing girl that now they're a successful woman, executive, but they compromised the parts they remember, the story of who they are. For men, the hills they needed to climb, and somehow they couldn't see themselves. And I was in my research mind, I was taking a lot of notes. I have reams and reams of notes and scrap paper and so on. They're telling me something, I don't get it. It was when in 2012 that in that January, we came, my wife and I, from Christmas party, New Year party. And I remember the dress she wore, laying down in bed. That's the time usually I made my grace wishes for the New Year. I was wishing to die that year. I was so deep in depression, and depression, weight builds on it, and if you don't address it, and it was getting heavy, and I was basically, I wanted to die. I was at the end. I couldn't go on anymore. What was important from the outside, nobody knew that. Robin Williams has a saying that people don't fake depression; they fake being okay.
Yeah.
I was being promoted. I was, interesting enough, people would call me Aredshir, Dr. Aredshir Mehran, PhD. People closer to me are Aredshir Mehran, PhD, LOP, Life of the Party. And people were closer, Aredshir Mehran, ADHD, PhD. So I was energy. I was smiling. Whenever there was project, I was the first to be assigned. People would come to me, and deep down I was dying, and nobody knew it. I would tell people I'm depressed. They said, no, take a vacation. You need more sleep, and so on. And I was healthy. I run full marathon to this day. I swim in San Francisco Bay. But deep down, I was down. On the August of that year, 3rd August, in depth of my depression, there was an epiphany. I was sitting there Sunday morning, 5:30. I wake up typically, and I do my own doodling, working. All those stories that they were telling me, those leaders, patients, friends, all the books I read, started to shift in my mind that there are 7 basic enduring human needs. They're cradle to grave. They always will be there. They always been there. You see that all the way from the Greek philosophers. That those needs, we can raise our children that way. We can create teams around that. We can have relationships around that. Once we know those needs, they're as essential as our civic needs, our Bill of Rights. Depression and anxiety really talks about those needs are fragmented, are unfulfilled. And then just another snippet, then I want to go back. And then in the November of that year, in my last reach out to therapy, I went to a psychiatrist. I really wanted to do something about my depression. Went to a psychiatrist in my community, well recommended. 30 minutes to the psychotherapy. I saw him taking notes. Say, doctor, what are you writing? He said, Mr. Mehran, you are mildly depressed, and here's some medication for you to take it. Come back to me. That moment, I learned I'm home alone.
Yeah.
He calls me mildly depressed. He doesn't realize that coming to see him, I was passing train track. I was thinking, if I just slow down, I would get hit by a rush hour train. He totally missed me. That's what happened with senior executives. They have needs and they don't know how to talk about it. And therapists miss that. There's a different language. You don't ask, how are you feeling? That psychotherapist asked me, Aredshir, how is life going for you? Tell me about you. Bring the story of life versus story discussion about symptoms. Symptoms miss the person. The conversation of therapy and healing is about the person, about the needs. So, Tara, so one more thing before we end.
Wow.
I want to give you a challenge, a role of a witness with the time. So, Tara, we have about 12 minutes. What would be helpful, for us? I was hoping to walk people quickly through the Bill of Rights so they can feel it themselves. Would that work? Do we have time for that?
Yeah, we have absolutely time for that. We could probably talk for days. In fact, I want to extend this episode. If everybody has time, we will definitely keep going, because there's a lot of topics that I want to hit on today, and I want to make sure that we add lots of value, because there's a lot of people that need it. But again, continue to put in your comments in the chats if you have questions as he goes through the Bill of Rights and what that really means. But yeah, feel free to stay on, because we're here to really add value and change lives today. But let's talk about it. Again, I can't help but say it, Dr. Aredshir. Maybe I'll get my act together one day.
All
But
right, thank you.
I would love for you to talk about it. Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you. So I want to talk about it, and I want to highlight the beauty and the curse of high performers. We glamorize resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
You can be off the chart being resilient, and you be off the chart being depressed, and off the chart being suicidal, and off the chart of anxiety. They have nothing to do with each other, and we miss that. We miss that. You can, again, I want to stress that you can be amazing resilient, which high performers are, and be struggling deeply inside, and you don't know what the heck to do. To reach out to individuals, high performers, a different conversation. It's not about how will you do. It's really knowing that they feel when people are depressed, there's a deep sense of there's something lost, and that loss is you is lost. There's a sense of grieving. There's a different conversation. And if we have time, I will talk about, so November 3rd, I will be in New York City as part of Young Presidents Organization in front of several hundred CEOs. That I will talk about how to use your struggles to actually as assets. The analogy I use, high performers are like thoroughbred horses. They run amazingly, but they're running on 3 legs and they don't know it. They think they're doing great. Actually, they can do even better. They don't realize it. Depression and anxiety, will tell you about where your greatness lies. So I invite you, I want to quickly walk you through the Bill of Rights. We'll be in the chat to download it, use it. So first, I invite you just sit comfortably. This is the reflective exercise. You don't have to think it. Take some deep breath, settle, sense your body. And you know that children game we all played, it's hot, 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 cold, cold, cold. So I'm going to walk you through some series of emotional experiences that these are all of our experiences, no matter where you live and any era. And I want you to think about you and your heart and your being at this very moment. Some of this even is hard for me to talk about because I remember moments behind all these stories, but translate it to your own language. And in terms of think about, as I talk about it, when your body comes alive, when your heart starts to race, when you say, what the hell is he talking about? Or say, oh my gosh, I need that. Or you may say, good, I have it under control. Listen to your body as I go around that. The very first need is I belong. This happens right at birth. This is the quality of being loved and loving others. And this is the quality of feeling felt. Feeling felt. That there are beings in this world that they know you. It could have happened in the past, that they know you, that they know your skin, they know your face, that you feel connected. It's not how many friends we have, how many likes we have, that you feel a deep sense of belonging, connected. This is as essential as human life. This is as being alive and connected. When we have that, we don't have to say, I love you. You know, you're loved. And it doesn't mean we do everything's great. Me, I screw up all the time, but I know the family relationship. I'm connected. I love. I belong. I have a base to go. Let that settle in your body and see how it comes up. The next need that happens also in life, that I'm boundless. This is about our bodies. It's not about whether how fit we are. We have six pack or waistline. It's about our body's agent of our agencies. At core, we are lionesses and lions in Serengeti movement. We are alive when our body moves. We are one with our full expression. It's really impossible. This is something a lot of psychologists miss. It's impossible to be fully healed without full physical body neurolinguistic expressions. We are a creature of movements. Yet in our today's world, we sit down and become talking heads. That actually creates a stress in our bodies. This is about when you think about your body, are you just feel series of organs, or do you feel you're in touch with your body, with your movement? Can you read your body? There's a motion, there's a dance. Do you feel it? When you think about your body, what comes up for you? The next need is I'm complete. We are meant to live through life, to live in the moment. We know from neurology, from research, the somatic work, and Dr. Bessel van der Kolk work, and Peter Levine, brain remembers time and motion and space. Body always lives in the moment. There's no such thing as past. We always live in the moment. Yet for most of us, we live in the past. Shame and guilt, as Brené Brown talked about. I'm complete is that for us to come to terms with whatever we had. We all get sucker punched. We all get hurt. Are we able to leave things behind, to be in the moment, to turn our sorrow, setback, and tragedies to this moment being here? The next need is I matter. Whether you live uptown, whether you live downtown, you're a rich person, poor person, you are a citizen of this world. Respect, honor is bestowed upon you. Are you seen? Do you go in the room in the gathering and you feel you're seen, you're at the table, you don't have to fight it. You matter. Your life matters. Your existence matters. Do you feel it? Next one is I make. Wonderful people on the call, 7 billion people on this call. We all do something in this world. For many people, especially in the world of work, work is that I'm here to make money, to pay the bill. Work is the treasury. Do you, what you do you connect with it? Is this the work of your soul? Do you feel what you do is important to you? Going up the food chain, I am. This is Katy Perry's roaring sound. So this came to me from the patient that I had, but mostly from executives. I would see leaders would hire me to work in their presence to stage the confidence, gravitas, one called it. And as they start to talk with me, I feel the raspiness of the voice. They had a hard time to just project their voice.
Yeah.
Patsy Rottenberg, which is a wise sage woman in London, works with the actress and actresses about their stage presence. She has an amazing book, The Right to Speak. You, my friends, have the right to speak, and the world needs to hear you. Many leaders, they lose their voice. They're afraid of themselves. Your idea could be the stupidest idea, but it's your idea. And once you learn is your right to speak your truth, is your conviction, is your soul song to say that as mighty as possible, you feel liberated. And for many of us, we hold our voice back. That happened to me a lot. Like these days where I'm doing it right now, I'm speaking my truth. I know my English is messed up, syntax, all of that. To be honest, I don't care. I'm telling my truth because I believe in what I say. I live through that. The last one is I soar, which is divine. This is where we become celestial. Maya Angelou, you see it right behind me, that there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. We talk about purpose. We all have a story, my friends. 7 billion people, 7 billion stories. Your story belongs to you and belongs to this earth. This work, I'm doing my story. It could be the stupidest story, but I was chosen to do this work. Once we do that, you become liberated. So I learned over and over, these needs apply to all of us. My wife and I are starting to redesign our home, the way we raise our son, and we share that with our families. You can start raising a family this way. With some of my colleagues, how you bring this to the world of work for innovation team. What I learned over and over, and I will put this in my research, share that once we go to this space, your depression and anxiety telling you, dear friend, you are not fulfilling these needs. Depression, anxiety very closely relates to this one. And at each moment, people say 7 of them. What I shared with right now, see which one intrigues something for you. But usually at any point in time, there's a need that torments you. Say, oh my gosh, what the hell? I'm missing that in life. Listen to that. There's one need that inspires you. Says, oh, I want that. I want more of that. I need that. Listen to that energy. And then third one, listen to what keeps the stability for you. So this needs your energy sources. What I also invite you as you go through them, listen to where your body, where your pain or sensation come up. In the Western world and a lot of psychotherapy, we're trying to avoid pain. Pain is good. Pain is data. Pain is from the Latin word passo. It means passion. When we feel pain, we feel a sensation that pay attention to this. Our way to pain is to use it toward wisdom. So let me stop and see this exercise. So the therapy that I do these days, people say that, Aredshir, your therapy is very different. I call it emotional restoration therapy. I said, dear executive men and women, there's nothing wrong with you. Basically, there's greatness within you. You haven't been using that. Bring your body, listen to your body, listen to your pain, and let's go to these emotional needs. They will guide you toward the better part of you. And I want to say it is possible. You will wake up one day, your depression is not there. This is seen this happen to me and over it. Your depression, anxiety is not there. You will not be depressed. You will be pissed. You don't want to waste time anymore.
Yeah.
Depression and anxiety are invitation to wake up and claim you. Claim you.
Wow. You are dropping so much wisdom on us today. This is amazing. Of course, brought my tissues, everyone, because he gets me every time. But the first one you said, "I belong," I teared up. Beautiful. But you talked about, I mean, how you were at, we know each other. So I know that you have struggled with suicide, and we've talked about the day you were going to commit suicide and your lowest point there, and I have a similar story. So, but what you say is interesting. That lowest point, you have a choice, right? Even at that lowest point, and it's either that pain is teaching you something, that there's a wisdom in that pain, and we're so adverse to pain, and we think that's really a bad thing, but it actually can unlock the key to your purpose and
Yeah.
why you are on this planet right now. So there's every one of us that is listening to this and more has had a tremendous amount of pain at some point in our lives. But have we dismissed that pain, tried to bury it,
Yeah.
or have we utilized it as a key to get in the door of why we are here on this planet right now?
That's
And
right.
I have a question. What is a purpose, and how do you find it, Dr. Ardashir? And does everyone have a purpose?
Everyone has a story. Everybody has a story. I struggle with the term purpose. Purpose, it means something tangible, impactable, and you have it here. Everybody has a story.
Yeah.
Like when we look at the journey of Luke Skywalker, that hero's journey, we all have a hero's journey. For some people, it's very majestic. You write books about it. For a lot of people, it's day to day, earn the bread, come home, take care of the family. We all have a story. It's true that a story life becomes visible. The point of people say, where do I go for my purpose? The very struggle you have, the very pain you have, the tension you have, that lies your story. This work, Tarana, I shared with you, I tried to leave this work 4 times behind. It sucked. It hurt. I didn't want to deal with depression. I became management consultant, make a lot of money, getting promoted, was very good at it. Life was keep bringing me, dude, we put you here to do this work. This is not your work. This belongs to others. And it was finally through the pain realized I've been sitting on the gold mine of to do something. I might as well do it.
Yeah.
Through that doing, working through my pain, I find myself. So my suggestion is that I don't know where the purpose is, but the struggle you have will guide you there like a breadcrumbs. So stay with that. Something about suicide, having been on the edge, it breaks my heart. Even on LinkedIn, you see so many amazing people talk about losing their son, their spouse, loved ones, and they wonder what happened. This was a wonderful person, smiled on his or her face. When you're in that moment of depression, I remember that they seen psychiatrists. You're in the time space that almost life comes to stand still. Depression is the last act of you actually coming to life. You claim back yourself. When we are depressed, we are folded along three dimensions. We don't sense our bodies anymore because it hurts so much. We are not in our bodies anymore. We're just a brain that's trying to find something to hold on to. We don't have a sense of connection. We are marooning. We are in a room just like me. In people like me, smile, give me high five. I couldn't feel connected to anybody. I was deep lonely. Third one is sense of agency. I have control over nothing. I don't know what I was doing. I was just drifting. When people commit suicide, through their death, they claim themselves back. They claimed I'm finding life, I'm finding myself back. In those moments, that's the reason suicide hotline is somebody says that I see you. You matter to me, and you just stay with the person.
Beautiful.
That psychiatrist missed the point. All he had to say, instead of giving me a list of questions, do you feel sleeping symptoms, that I'm a high performer, I manage myself. I just needed somebody to hear me, and he missed it. And he didn't have to ask much question. Ardeshir, how is life going for you? That's all I needed. Somebody asked me a question.
Let's take a moment. I know it was going to be a very heavy topic, but this is something that we all need to hear, because the number one killer in the United States right now is suicide.
Yeah.
This is a pertinent topic. This is a topic we all need to hear today and more. The goal of this conversation is to spread awareness on a global scale, of course, but I can speak of the suicide rates in the United States, and I know that it's the number one killer. And it doesn't have to be this way. So it's hard to talk, but this is real. This is real. And part of our purpose on this earth is to help others.
So
And yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're here, folks. So let us know in the comments, and my door is always open, and I know yours is as well. If you're having these thoughts of suicide and you just want to talk to somebody and you just want to be heard, my door is always open to help people.
Same here.
Yeah.
We talked about it, to give you a challenge. Actually, it's a good challenge. Oh, do we have time for that, Tara?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Let's help a lot of people today.
So this challenge, I know you're all very busy. Your to-do list is crazy. This is none of that. This is a challenge of you to be a witness. Let me describe the science behind this. For us to heal, it needs two things. You need to tell your story in your own language, in your own expression. As long as it takes, you need to tell your story.
Yeah.
And it needs to be heard by your witness. The journey of healing is a contact sport. We do not heal by ourselves. Going to back, I belong. You need to tell your story. Where you've been, what happened to you, where you are, your story. You decide. And you need to be witness. So what does witness mean? There's a difference between empathy and atonement. Atonement comes from the field of trauma research. Dr. Peter Levine and Stephen Porges. Empathy means that when you talk, I understand what you say, what it means for you, the emotional experience that you're sharing. Witness means I see you, your entire you in this moment. it really doesn't matter what you say. It's not about the world. That I see the grace and the greatness of you being in this moment. What I'm doing in the time of being witness, I'm breathing deeply, belly breathing. I'm leaning a bit forward. That signals to other person's body that I'm interested, which you are. My eyes open, your field of vision is open, and I see you, and I'm not rushed. What I'm not asking, where a lot of coaches are trained asking powerful questions, none of that. I'm seeing you as you are. And if I want to ask question can be, tell me about you. What's coming up for you? What would you like to share? What's important to you right now? Head to toe, you invite the person. And as the person speaks, you allow the moment to linger. You let the conversation to go for the person to share. Your job is to bear witness for the entire being. Your job is not to understand, to guide the conversation. So your job is that bring level of calmness, presence, and let the individual speak. What is happening with the individual, we heal not when as the part of telling our witness what happens, we're integrating internally our emotions, our cognitions, our body, our sensation, our gut, chest, lungs. We're starting to connect. We're starting to feel ourselves. That is healing, because the modern world fragments us. Right? Part of us are needed here and there. This moment of space you create, the person find themselves and then heal themselves. Your job is create that space. So the invitation to you, friends, are with your loved one, with your kids, with your partners. When you go there, be a witness as they share. We don't need to come up with any intelligent comments. Just bear witness to their humanity as long as they want. Sometimes the moments can be several minutes, and that's good. They are doing a lot of work. When this happens, people, they don't know why, but they will love you for it. Oh my gosh, it was so great being Tara. She's amazing. What happened? You create a space for them to be themselves. You create that energy, and that boomerangs over to others. Invitation to you right after this call: be a witness for people around you. We all need that.
Yes. There is a beauty in sharing your story. And it happens, right here on LinkedIn. Again, I've said it before, but that's how you really build a tribe, build relationships, build a community, build people that trust you and that they like you. There's some part of your story that is unique to you
Yeah.
that has guided you to this moment right here today, which is finding or aligning with your purpose. So, lots of information was shared today, but I think a lot of the key takeaways are share your story, and let others share their stories to you, and to be a witness for them, and to validate them by letting them share their stories without judgment, without, anything of that nature, just with an open mind and open heart. And that it's perfectly okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And, all those high performers out there, myself included, yourself included, we struggle on a different level.
Yeah.
We never quite feel like we're enough. We never quite feel like we have enough education, or that we make enough money, or that we're promoted enough, or whatever. So it's always enough. If I just get here, I'll be happy. And then you get there, and then you're disappointed because you're depressed, because you're unfinished, because you're not aligning with your purpose,
Yeah.
and you're unfulfilled, and you're seeking out the wrong things in life instead of aligning with your purpose
That's
and
right.
why you're here.
Thank you. And with somebody, if I can build on it, so people do ask me, so Aredshir, how do you talk about mental illness in front of senior executives. They don't go to those meetings. They send a representative. My answer is think about it this way. Would you rather to go to a meeting that talks about wealth creation, making more money, and being more successful, or do you want to go to a meeting that talks about how to pay your credit card, like avoid the foreclosure and risks? We are starting to almost look at mental illness as almost risk management.
Yeah.
We got it backwards.
Yep.
If we focus on what is the health, what would being healthy looks like, which actually there's a gap in our science. That's what I brought, into the emotional bill of rights. There's some foundational motivator, but what would being healthy looks like? If you talk about what fulfillment looks like, what would being fully alive looks like, boy, everybody will come to that session. Because once you do that, depression, anxiety becomes sideshow, becomes signals that say you're not doing that. So the way that I approach that, and I learned this when I was with my prior employer, I was one of the leaders in business transformation. I started to talk about fulfillment, and people will come to my session in hundreds. And the comments was that you made me make sense to myself. I talked about depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive bipolar, but you need to give the science. And what would the addition looks like versus subtraction? And people will go there. So we got the message backward. That's the time to really reframe it. This is about greatness, about living versus suffer less. Who wants to go there?
That's right. Wow. So interesting. We have it all backwards. And that's why so many people are failing, or feel like they're failing and feel depressed and feel anxious, is because we have it backwards, guys. And, it's listen to what he's saying, because I feel like this can help a lot of individuals, but more importantly, how, on a collective scale, if you're a leader in a company, which there's plenty of leaders here today, right now, take these lessons, apply them to your team, and think about, how they're feeling, how their mental health is, and really dive in, because, leadership is empathy, and you have to be an empathetic leader, or else you're not going to have people to lead.
That's right.
So,
And just one piece of data. So September 20th this year, there was major news across all the wires. United States, I need to look at this. It says, really?
wow.
United States Preventive Services Task Force is the bipartisan agency under Health and Human Services. They put their recommendation at the national level. So listen to this. All adult American under age 65, all adult, all of us in the US, they need to be screened annually for depression and anxiety. So when you see that, say, okay, we're doomed. We come to the point, we've come to accept being depressed and anxious is fact of life. No, mental illness, depression, anxiety, these are not evolutionary. We've come to accept mental illness as given. I don't know about you. I do not accept it. And I'm going to do all I can to say, no, what we got wrong is living. Go find a fulfilled life. We are solving this kind of problem. I mean, like when I see this, I'm thinking, okay, we need the Dr. Fauci in mental health to say, wake up. We got the science backward. We got
Yes.
living backwards. Go
Yes.
fix that. All of these are sideshows.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's so sad, the
Yeah,
state of it, that we've accepted this as a permanent state, that just everybody's going to get it. And no, it doesn't have to be this way, folks. Like, we have both dug ourselves out of depression, and we've done that by finding fulfillment.
that's right.
And I want to open up the forum right now. Any comments? Let's hear from you guys. Comments, questions, definitely before we head out. And again, if anybody wants to, book an appointment with Dr. Ardeshir, let's please do that, because again, we're here to help a lot of people today. But any closing thoughts that you have, Dr. Ardeshir, about anything we've talked about today, and just any closing thoughts that you can think of?
Yes, thank you. So the first thing is that many people, when I start to write, they write me and say, I'm hurting, I have depression, and I don't even know where to start. And the first thing, so to take away that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your brain. There's nothing wrong with your chemistry. I know the psychology and the field, they say otherwise. You're just fine. You're just fine. There's a reality, physical reality called neuroplasticity.
Mm-hmm.
We redesign ourselves to illness, and we can reverse engineer literally to health. Your original design is just fine. You're just fine. We have learned to tolerate illness as given. You probably don't know how to come back. The way to come back is not to figure out less depressed. I've tried it. 7 psychologists, different ways of practice. I've done CBTs and so on, etc., etc. The way to design, use that emotional rights. Find what inspires you. Follow the energy. Follow the pain. The pain and energy will lead you home. You already know it. If you feel numb, your body is aching. Follow the energy, the breadcrumb of your soul that will lead you home. So
Wow.
don't accept it. Don't accept that you're broken. Don't accept the pain. Follow the energy of healing, living a fulfilled life. And one step at a time, you can get back. And I know it for a fact. It happened to me, happened to colleagues who've been around me. You will wake up one day, you will be pissed, you will not be depressed.
I love that. Be pissed, not depressed. Be
Yeah.
pissed that it had been a condition of yours for so long that you've lost time, and
Yeah, you
be
don't want
pissed
to waste time
about that.
anymore. You don't want to waste time anymore. This is your life. Go claim it. Go claim it, my friends.
This is your life. Go claim it. I hope everybody enjoyed today's session. I will leave in the comments his generous gift, which is the Emotional Bill of Rights as a
You
PDF.
give it to the world.
Give it to the world. Share it with your friends. Share it with your neighbors. Share it with your family members. Share it with people that you know who have been down and out and are searching for answers and a deeper meaning in life. We want to help people. So thank you so much, Dr. Ardeshir. I knew this was going to be a good one. You are an amazing person, and beyond that, you're a good person, and you're here for a reason, and your part of your purpose is to help people on a massive scale, and you're doing that every day. You're stepping into your purpose and being more aligned with it every single day. So God bless you, my friend.
God
Thank
bless
you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so much, and
you.
thank you for everyone that tuned in today. We will
Thank you.
see you